Coming up on Added Time.
Should we discuss this or no? We just
No, we should discuss it.
It's shrunk in the wash. If it was a restaurant in Blackburn, I'd ask you, but...
The Christmas period can be fatal for some clubs.
Everton should have had a penalty. He wellied him.
I was running after him going, Muskie, what are you doing, you
Mate,
idiot?
Liverpool's inability to manage the game properly.
Christmas edition, gents. Season's greetings. How are we all? Robbie Slater, welcome back.
No, thank you very much, and I'm feeling very anti-Christmas because
Well,
on
yeah.
that side,
I
it
mean,
looks
have a
like
look
it's
at the
us
state.
versus them. Anyway, no,
You didn't get the memo
in all
or
fairness,
whatever?
I called yesterday. I was about to buy one,
Yeah.
and anyway, it didn't happen. But someone once told me that when you come into a studio, you don't walk. You've got to bounce into a studio. Okay. So today I bounced into the studio, so I'm feeling bouncy. I did a few push-ups before coming through.
Really?
You're a weird unit.
What's that got to do with your shirt?
Well, I've been a weird unit. Mind you, when I think of bouncing in the studio, I've bounced out of more studios in recent years.
Been bounced,
yeah.
But anyway, it's great to see you guys. Thanks for having me back. And
nice
what a
to see
great
you.
time. As we know, England, there's no Christmas for a footballer.
No, it's true, yeah.
It's
festive season, it's football
playing,
galore. Yeah.
It's games every day, like every 3 days, Boxing Day, New Year's Day, and anyway, we might have a little story about that later.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Boz, it is a great time of year, especially on Stan Sport, because it feels like every morning we wake up, there's some great football to watch, especially the 7 a.m. kickoffs on the eastern seaboard.
There has been. We've got 40 games coming up over the festive period.
40?
40. So they've already had some really incredible games recently. And we'll talk about it a little bit. Aston Villa versus Manchester United was brilliant. As was Newcastle versus Chelsea. Really didn't disappoint at all. And even for different reasons, you have to say, Tottenham Hotspurs versus Liverpool.
That was brilliant.
So a lot of excitement all round. We'll talk about, obviously, Arsenal as well, still top of the table, who are going to be probably favourites, obviously take away Wolves, who's going to take up the other 2 places of relegation. And this is coming up to the halfway point of the season, so really important time.
Before you go, should we discuss this or no? We just
No, we should discuss it.
It's shrunk in the wash. I know that for a fact. I got bloated in the last week or so.
Well,
No,
you
it
have
looks
been at the
good. I
cricket,
like it.
so
Yeah,
they
it's
do
great.
love a party pie at the cricket, don't they?
Yeah.
He ate all the pies. And by the looks of it, you hate the sausage rolls as well.
I've got a corset on under this as well, just to keep everything in check. Before we get rolling, we're going to do a Secret Santa to start things. So listeners of this show, I'll try and describe it to you. Viewers can see what's going on. Foz, there's one with your name on it down there. So you open that one up. I've got my one right here. Go on, open
Okay,
away.
so this is this from someone or what is?
It's Secret Santa. So
This one's for you.
Oh, we don't know. Okay, right.
So I'll open mine up here, and it looks like some kind of mug.
I must say the wrapping is...
It's quite good, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, who got me a Sunderland AFC
Cheers, Robs.
mug?
Thank you.
Who did that?
Cyril loved it.
That's good.
Who's owning up to this?
Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
wasn't me.
Don't look at me. It was a suggestion from other people.
What's that?
I know who got me that. Come on, zoom it in. Mark Schwarzer. Thank you very much.
What is that?
It's got
A donut.
It's got EPL top 50. I made 49.
That's a bar.
No, it's a bar. No, it's a very good one. Thank you very much, Bozza. That's right. That smells
funny.
really good.
And Foz, you won't sleep over Christmas.
That's true.
I'll own up to this because Foz actually comes in.
Yeah.
He's got dance music blaring out of his phone. He's drinking one of the tradie
Is
V's.
that right?
So I stay awake. So I wake up.
You don't eat. You just drink those.
No, I'm off coffee, so when
Well,
I
as
need
we
caffeine, these things are horrific, but now I got addicted to the damn
And as
things.
we know, eating's overrated.
The what?
Eating's overrated.
Oh.
No, it's not.
For some people.
No,
Speak
it's
for
not.
yourself.
I'm with Team Boz here. Hey, speaking of gifts, we've got a fantastic gift for you, the viewer at home or listener, if you're listening to this podcast. It's the ultimate Premier League trip. So you and 3 mates, London, Spurs, Newcastle in February.
Wow.
Return business class flights, 7 nights accommodation at a 5-star hotel, stadium tour
7
of Spurs. You can see the Europa League trophy that Ange won last year.
Wow.
Dinner at the Ivy Soho. Is that a nice place, Boz?
Yeah.
Why do you ask? Oh, yes.
Yeah. If it was a restaurant in Blackburn, I'd ask you. But no. Only active Stan Sport subscribers are eligible to win 25 words or less. Most memorable Premier League moment and why.
Fantastic.
So that's the competition. QR code on your screen for viewers. Hit up the Stan Sport website for listeners.
It's a great present.
That's a dream trip.
That's a dream trip.
What a trip.
7 days, that's
Yeah.
not normal.
Superb.
Nah.
Usually it's in and out, so beautiful.
Yeah.
Onside, offside is now naughty and nice this week.
Oh.
So naughty, no. nice. Yes, we'll get to a big talking point in a moment. It pertains to strikers in the Premier League at the moment. But we're going to start with Aston Villa again. So Aston Villa Chelsea comes this weekend.
Wow.
If they win, they're 10 points ahead of Chelsea. So a question for the floor: a Villa win would guarantee we've got ourselves a 3-horse race for the title, or are we already there with it?
It's a big call.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, nice. I think we're already there with it.
Yep.
I would hold on because of what you said about that game. It's a very important game. They beat Aston Villa at Stamford Bridge last season 3-0 quite convincingly. But I still maintain from the start of the season that Chelsea are a dark horse, and they remain that. But the one that's come from nowhere is Aston Villa.
Yeah.
And they are genuine title contenders right at this moment. Remember, after 17 games, this next game against Chelsea and the game after against Arsenal will tell us a lot about their title credentials. But, you know, they can turn around and say they've beaten Arsenal, they've beaten Manchester City, and they have got this season the Europa League, which, no disrespect to the Europa League, but in the Champions League, pretty much until maybe the last couple games or maybe
all the big clubs are there.
you have to play your full-strength team. It's a huge competition, okay? It means so much to everybody, and people generally do. Europa League, Aston Villa, in my opinion, they can afford to play their second team up until probably about the quarterfinals, if they get that far, and that will allow them to focus a little bit more on the league. They're out of the League Cup as well, FA Cup coming up against Spurs in the new year. So I think they generally are title contenders, and you've got a manager in Unai Emery who has won titles before. Regardless of what anyone says, he's, you know, in terms of being a cup manager, he's won a title.
Well, Bulldog, what do you reckon? I mean, but even if Aston Villa beat Chelsea, you can't tell me they're written off, that is the end.
No, look, I don't think they will. And it's, I actually think, and I think Liverpool equal fourth with Chelsea now. I think they're back in it. If they can have a good January transfer window, which we'll talk about, I don't think they're dead. I still think it's Arsenal or City.
Yeah, I think that's right.
You know, and I think they're right to be probably the favourites at the moment. But you know yourself, and you know, the Christmas period can be fatal for some clubs and can be, you know, you're playing so much and, you know, the fans love it. It's a culture over there, the Christmas period. But I think Chelsea is still a good side. A month ago, I thought, OK, this is it.
Yeah,
and then they've somehow been very inconsistent. But this is a massive game for them.
If you told me if I was at half-time last weekend that Chelsea were a title contender at half-time at St James's Park, I would have said title contender for what? Like League One? But second half, they were a title contender for the Premier League.
Well, they did the same thing a little bit last season, So look, it's a great question, but the thing is, the reason why I think it's not real is, firstly, I do think that it is a 2-horse race, actually, genuinely speaking, because I think there's a big... for Villa to get... I hope they do. I would love to see Villa go take the title. Nothing would please me more this season.
Everyone would love that.
It would be unbelievable. It would be like another Leicester in a way, right? So it would be fantastic. So I'm really riding them hard. But, you know, if you looked at percentages, you'd say, 30%, probably no more, right? Because the other two are too strong. Guardiola's got them back again. Man City are firing, and they're under the radar a little bit, and they're just going every week.
Oh,
right?
mate,
So
Haaland is just...
He's turned around last season, even at the start of this season, and he's now got them functioning perfectly again, as he always does. And then Liverpool are coming back. At Chelsea are still a little bit up and down, but they've got enough quality to go on a run of 9 wins or something.
And you look at Arsenal recently, the last 2 games, they needed an injury time
equaliser.
Own goal to win it against Wolves.
At home.
And they only won 1-0 their last game. So City, it's strange to think that they're sort of flying underneath the old radar, you know, that cliche.
Right.
And Haaland, 19 goals. Next best is 11. They said he had a bad season last year. Haaland has a bad season when he finishes second in the Golden Boot.
Yeah,
you know,
it's true.
He is frightening what he's doing at the moment.
Just on that Arsenal result, it's our second question, naughty and nice. Saliba kicking Barry in similar styles to a lot of...
Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it.
I was going to say, Arsenal were lucky to come away with 3 points in that one at Everton.
Oh, nice. If you look, in terms of the overall game, Arsenal, I mean, they hit the upright, I would have thought, I think on 3 different occasions. They should have had the game dead and buried, but regardless, Everton should have had a penalty. He wellied him.
Yeah.
He absolutely wellied him. It was like, for me, you know, when you go to watch a replay, you say, let's see, it's probably about 50-50. It wasn't 50-50.
Yeah.
So how did he get away with that?
Yeah, that's the question,
Look, in terms of referees, and we say this all the time, right? Everybody, I would say in the whole world sport with their officials, they want nothing more. They were going to get consistency. But the reality is you don't, because everybody sees things in different ways. But the trick is to make sure that the most, you could say, strictest referees, difference between the ones who let things go is not too much.
Yeah.
But that we've seen already this season being given as a penalty, and not as clear-cut as that. What I would like is to hear an explanation post-game from the VAR or somebody from the referees
as to why.
Well, how did they not pick it up?
As to why? As to why? They look at everything.
I mean, it's nowhere near the ball.
Yeah.
They just smashed the guy for that.
Exactly, it's a penalty. Every day of the week.
It's crazy.
It was an
But in the old days, like, you know, when we were playing, the old days now, when that happened, often you'd be after the game, everyone would be arguing, so it's a clear penalty, you can see it, right? But this is the whole point of having the intervention now.
It should be near, well...
It's crazy.
Perfect.
Javi Simons, he got a straight red card, yellow. He got the upgrade, the unfortunate upgrade, the one that you don't want for the studs on the Achilles of Virgil van Dijk. Here's one for you.
Yes.
In a World Cup year, should players look after their countrymen out there?
Mate,
I'm taking those laughs as a no.
I'm going to say something. We've all played for Australia. It doesn't matter. You always look after your teammates. You know
You mean in terms of injuring them?
Yeah.
Or, of course, you shouldn't be trying to injure anyone, let alone your fellow countrymen.
Yeah, but look, his challenge is not a thought-out process. Oh, there's Virgil van Dijk, I'm going to do this. It's just something that happened. It was stupid. It's a red card, and Van Dijk wouldn't be too pleased. I don't know, in the next Dutch camp, are they going to talk too much?
No, he knows. I mean, he's a creative player. They're not the best tacklers in the world, usually anyway. He's not going to time things well. He doesn't think that he tried to do anything. But the kind of suggestion that, you know, you're in a game of that level and then you're thinking, I'm coming into a tackle, oh, no, it's the Bulldog, or, you know, it's the Boz.
It doesn't happen like that.
You can't even see it.
No.
I remember a game we played, Wolves, actually, when Muskie was skipper there.
Oh, jeez.
And, we were playing together for the... for the Socceroos. And anyway, and I think we were, from memory, it might have been both the two skippers. So, you know, we exchanged the stuff and we went out and started playing. And we came back for a corner, and I must have been marking in the vicinity of Muskie. And we both went up, and I copped one in the mouth, you know, and cut my mouth. And I was running after him. I was going, oh, who was that? And here's Muskie running off. I was running after him going, Muskie, what are you doing, you idiot?
You weren't the only person in England to run after Muskie.
Wasn't there a story, sorry, Rob, wasn't there a story where you put your cape on from a shot from Robbie Slater and just pick one out of the corner one day?
Yes.
When
they were going for relegation as well.
We were going to relegate.
That doesn't come into play. They're exactly right.
I said to him before, and it had to be, look, just let it in if I hit one.
That would have been good for you.
I swear, it was like...
I think the most important message out of that whole incident, and this is what I said to some people the other day, players have got to take care of other players as well in terms of... I know people start saying, oh, the game's gone. It's not. Because, you know, that could have been a really nasty injury.
It's true. Yeah.
And you heard the co-commentator, Skipper Andy Townsend, and Andy was an excellent midfielder.
And a great co-commentator.
But he could also put his foot about if he had to. He never went out looking for it. He could put his... So he said straight away when we saw the replay, exactly right.
It's bad.
Regardless of the intention.
No.
Like,
that can snap your Achilles.
Exactly. And not only that, his foot... This is what I'm saying about the intention. The foot wasn't in the normal stride. And the ball was so far away. And I think they should send a message to other players. Tackles of that ilk.
No, bad.
I don't want to see them anywhere.
No,
if you
want never been good.
If you want to go and play a game that's a little bit more rougher, there's heaps of other games to do. Not in football.
And the other thing, sorry,
go.
I was going to say the other thing about it is they used to talk a lot about intention, right? And that's why it's taken out now, is because the point for the referee is not to judge whether Javi Simons meant it or not. And people get involved in that a lot. I just said before that he's a creative player. He can't tackle. He doesn't know what he's doing, right? But the whole point is it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
Because then what happens is when there's someone who knows what they're doing, right, and they do it, and they make it look as though they didn't know, you're in trouble. So the referee's made exactly the right decision, and, good.
And only one person truly knows the intention. That actual person.
Yeah,
you can guess all you like. So
I'll tell you what,
take out the intention.
Yeah,
it's a red card. You know it. You know what I mean? That's it.
And just lastly, what that did mask, because that was the big talking point, is Liverpool's inability to manage the game properly after that. Because, I mean, Tottenham, even with 9 men, could have equalised. So that is a big problem for us.
But what about Romero getting himself sent off? I mean, are you crazy or what?
And that's one of your senior players. That's, that can't happen at that level.
It was interesting. Mickey van der Ven did a big sit-down with Gary Neville.
Yeah.
He spoke not only nicely, but glowingly of Ange Postecoglou.
Yeah,
and we've
great.
talked about it before. There is this remnant still at Tottenham that it's like some of the players, the back of their minds.
Well, he signed
why
them.
did you guys make this
Signed
change?
them,
Yeah, and he should have stayed.
They won a trophy, so that's the end of the story.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
For the first 10 games, he should have been given that.
10 games. We know that. We know
Look
that.
what they are now.
And players are going to be
horrible
like that.
football.
Yeah, players are going to be like that because, like Robbie said, they signed them.
Yep.
And you're always going to have an affliction and affiliation with the manager who signed you and gave you your chance. But we've all said that. The first they should have been given 10 games minimum. They're in a bit of bother at the moment, and only sitting there. What?
14th?
I think it's 14th, 22 points.
If they have a really bad Christmas,
Well, they've got to be
and the
very
others
careful.
have a good Christmas,
Very,
they could
very
slip
careful.
into it.
One win out of
Well, at the
what I
moment,
think out of the last 8 games.
Any other way?
Yeah.
7 goals in the last 2 games.
And they've won one in the last 8 in the Premier League.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. You can feed me peanuts. I'll sit on your shoulder. There you go.
Hey, Morgan Rogers, again, he did the business
wow.
against Manchester
Wow.
United. It's like, he keeps on doing it, cut in.
That's your
top
team,
corner.
mate. What
Very
have you
much.
got? Morgan
4 goals in his last 2 Premier League games. So here's the question, naughty or nice, Morgan Rogers will still be an Aston Villa player in February.
Oh, that's a
nice.
good question, yeah.
Nice,
He will
definitely
be.
will be.
They
Yeah,
won't let him go.
definitely. No, he's too important.
$120 million pound bid from someone?
No. Unai Emery's obviously convinced everybody there that he wants to build a team to win the title, to win the Champions League. And let's be really fair to them as well. And of course, I'm always biased, but I'm going to try to be. They did push Paris in that quarter-final last year in the Champions League, so they'll know they're not far off. And they're on a wonderful run. This is their best run, 10 game straight wins in all competitions in over 100 years. And hence why, like I said, with his experience and the way he's guiding them and the way he's guiding the whole club, they're a real team to watch out for. Whether or not be this season in the title, hopefully it will be. I don't know if it will be. But going forward, he's building a team for that.
He's the best player in the Premier League.
I thought you were going to say end of season.
Those
I
2
think
goals.
is when it becomes an issue for them. Yeah, so you're talking by February. But like end of season, they're certainly going to finish very high up as to how high.
And if they continue...
Yeah, and then the question is, can they keep hold of him then? Like, what is the actual ambition of the club? Or are they going to take a big fee for this guy? Because there's certainly going to be people in for him. Hopefully, they're in the position that you want them to be in, where they say, OK, now we're going to start to spend a little bit more. Obviously, they had financial problems last season, so they couldn't do much. They had loans. We'll see what happens in Jan. But then after the season is really the one where do they want to get into that next echelon? That's a big question.
And Rodgers... it's not that you forget about Ollie Watkins now, but he's just so much the focus. And when you talk Ollie Watkins, I rate him. I think he's a quality player as well. So you're not before I always felt you were reliant on Ollie Watkins if Aston Villa were going to win, either by goals or by assists. Now you got Rodgers as well. So that's why they're on this run of 10 wins. But can they continue? Yeah, for Bosnia, I love his passion for Villa. I look at the others around. I don't see them going 20. You know what I mean? They've done 10 in a row. It's already extraordinary, and I think it'll be a difficult Christmas for them with the games they've got coming up.
We'll see.
Still to come on Added Time.
This guy's pretty average. They're pretty much overpaid.
He's part of the best assembled squad in the whole Premier League.
They're all over 6 foot, and the majority of them are power-based. Like poor old Nick Voltemata isn't. He's
9 foot. I remember coming from France, and I lived there when the revolution happened because they missed 2 World Cups.
What, with Napoleon?
Not that one.
So our wider discussion this week is about goal scorers itself, and Morgan Rogers is not in this discussion. It's primarily centred on the strikers who moved clubs last transfer window in the summer. Alexander Isak, Ekitike, Shesko, Voltemata, Gyökeres, João Pedro, and a late inclusion, because he's scoring for fun for Leeds, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who is a free. So out of that lot, who's hit the mark? And I've got a fair idea who the answer will be for the second part of this question.
It sort of stands out,
who
doesn't
has not quite hit the mark with regards to all of that?
Well, out of that list, I'll go Ekitike, Voltemade and João Pedro. 3 definitely have hit the mark. Others are debatable, and we can go ahead with that. But those 3 definitely. And if I had to pick one out of the 3, I always like to go to the player that's playing for the team that's doing the best. I'd probably say João Pedro, because Chelsea are marginally, like Robbie said, they are equal on points to Liverpool. They are marginally doing still better than Liverpool at this moment in time. But it's a really, you could make a massive argument for Voltemade for your team, although I thought he should have scored a third one on the weekend, which would have put it beyond the pale. And Ekitike as well, you could make a case because he's playing in a team that struggled. But
he hasn't always started.
Yeah, and he's still shone. He's been outstanding.
Now he has made himself the definitive number one. Isak's injured for the next 4 months with the broken leg, but This is a result of no pre-season, and I know, and it's terrible. He's broken his leg for any player, but it just when you miss a pre-season,
playing catch up.
I missed one that ended up with a groin operation after. At Southampton and I got injured and I ended up with groin. Isak missed the pre-season. You never get that back.
No.
And when it starts badly, things just seem to happen. It just goes in that direction. And I feel, terrible for him. And you wish him a speedy recovery, but that's season over.
What did you think of Van der Ven's tackle?
Yeah.
On him when he scored?
Yeah, it wasn't. It's one of those. Yeah. Mickey Van der Ven didn't think about it, but. It didn't
Liverpool bench lost their minds over it.
Yeah,
they could not work out why they didn't have a look
thought he had no chance of getting the ball.
It didn't look it. It wasn't a good challenge. And
just on Isak and Ekitike, though, about how they used them, it looks like they got what they wanted out of Ekitike and they knew what they were getting because he's a creative. He can play. He can play on the side. He can play through the middle as well.
Drops deep.
Isak was only going to play through the middle. But it was almost like they went shopping for one, ended up with two, and they were like, "Oh, what do we do now?
Which one do we play?
Which one's which? Who's in the pecking order?"
Ekitike was the best from the start. Isak never really hit the ground running, did he?
He didn't, no. As you said, I think you're right. It's very difficult to pull that back when all that disruption in pre-season. Ekiteke's first game, he was already brilliant. I think he came off late, like 65th, 67th or something from memory. He talked about it here because he said, oh, my God, like he started to get cramps. His first game, coming straight out of the Bundesliga, and still your first game in the EPL, you're actually getting cramps. Established senior professional player shows you this pace of the EPL now. That shows you better than anything, right? That even a top-level player has to make an adjustment. And you saw that with Wirtz and others. But I think he's been excellent. One of the reasons why is because the team has also struggled. And so he's come in and, Wirtz is copping the blame. He's kind of avoided it a bit, but you had all the issues around Isak and then you had all the Salah issues and all that. And through all that...
It's been a mess.
Yeah, it's been a mess, actually.
It's unbelievably equal fourth.
Yeah, it is. But through that, Ekitike has been one of the good
stories,
consistent performers, and scoring goals and doing a good job. I also like Voltemade, from your team. But the reason is because he was hugely underrated. And what happens is when Isak's going and they're desperate, which they were, it's very easy to overpay for a very average player. And I remember reading in The Guardian, I think it was, Philipp Lahm, legendary ex-captain of Bayern Munich and Germany, basically saying, I don't know if you read it, he basically said, look, this guy's pretty average. They've, from what I can remember, they've pretty much overpaid. He's not a consistent player. He has some qualities, but we don't expect a great deal out of him. That's what I took out of the piece. And I thought, oh, geez, they might have been ripped here. Newcastle, anyway, his first game, he was outstanding. Then he started scoring, and he's really been a very, I think, important cog. You?
Yeah, well, at the time, Newcastle went after Šeško.
That's it.
Yeah.
When it was clear that Isak was going, they went, right, we need to go shopping here. We went after Šeško. He went, no, I want to play for Manchester United. Lifelong dream, play at Old Trafford. Understand that. Whew.
You could,
who
dodged
we
We
gonna
dodged
get?
the bullet there.
No, I don't think so.
You think now?
Not long term.
You think now?
Not long term, Šeško.
I reckon now.
No, right now.
You think
right.
Šeško will be
long term.
I reckon Šeško
long
would be
term.
brilliant there anyway. You
I thought
may
he was
well have
going
been
to be.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I had him in my dream team.
Yeah.
But I had to get
I agree, I agree.
Not long term.
Unless Man United damages him, which a lot of
I don't think
players
they will.
do.
100%.
I don't think they will.
A lot of players go down there and never come back up. Or they go to La Liga and come back up, right?
Yeah.
One we haven't mentioned, who I reckon will still, in the second half of the season, if he stays fit, have the biggest bearing on the title race, is exactly who Arsenal needed. They needed someone in that box to put away chances. And with all due respect to Mikel Merino, he ain't that guy to win a title.
No, I think you're right.
He's a guy to win games occasionally as the number 9, but Gyökeres, who's been a little injured, Boz, he's not going to, nutmeg 3 players and set up a beautiful through ball for another attacking player.
But
he's going to score goals.
He's part of the best assembled squad in the whole Premier League, and he's a massive part of that.
Yeah.
And that's so important. It was important always during our time. I can remember Blackburn, Robbie, so that Blackburn missed out on the title in 1993-94
second
by 8 points.
Yep.
They went and added Chris Sutton, Jeff Kenner, Tony Gale, yourself, and a chap called Richard Vichka, who'd come from Barcelona.
A couple of stories about Richard.
And the season later, you won the title.
Yeah, that's right.
And all of you guys played such an important role in doing that. I mean, you played 18 times, but the rest of them, I mean, Tony Gale, Chris Sutton speaks for himself, Jeff Kenner, that was so important. And even more so now with the pace of the game going up even more. It's always been an intense physical league. Yeah. The most intense physical league in the world, but it's gone up notches.
It's ridiculous.
And you add that to the quality and also the foreign coaching coming in. So this is so important. And he, Gyökeres, if they go and win the title, will be mentioned in the same vein as those people I just mentioned. That was one of the differences that they've done that. Eberici Eze as well, and a few others.
Give us the best one then, out of the list, to finalise this discussion. Who's been the best?
I'll go João Pedro.
The best buy?
I'll say Ekitike. I think he's been great.
Ekitike.
But I agree with what you're saying about Gyökeres. I think you have to say yes.
Yeah, he could be key.
Yeah, he is
because
key.
The other mob up north, they got Haaland. So they need Gyökeres to score goals.
Yeah, and it is amazing, and for all the young players in Australia and young youth coaches and all that stuff, is not everyone needs to be an Haaland.
No,
and not everyone needs to be Aguero.
No.
Like, this guy has different qualities.
That's right.
And yet here he is, playing in one of the biggest clubs in the world, who's having a phenomenal season.
Yep.
And I mean, we wouldn't say he's a great footballer, but he's a cog in a very powerful wheel, and he's playing his role perfectly.
Yeah. Doesn't it say a lot though about the modern game that all of those players, if I'm not mistaken, João Pedro, that they're all over 6 foot. And the majority of them are power-based. Well, poor old Nick Baltamata isn't. He's
9 foot.
He's got the metabolism of a 12-year-old. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
The rest, they're all athletes,
They're all intensely athletic and tall.
They are tall,
There's no Michael Owens coming through. There's striking options these days. Unless
I don't know about that. We have to have a look at it. But in the EPL, there's a lot of height now.
That's our Christmas job, homework.
Yeah.
Let's go and research
find a short striker.
What that dodgy jumper's talking about over there.
We'll stick to the list.
We'll stick to the list.
No, I'm just saying that's our Christmas, homework.
Special mention though to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Everton must be looking at that going.
What?
We need a striker.
At Everton, he couldn't score.
Yeah.
But he was always injured.
Nothing.
Well, this is the problem as well. Like they go and thrive elsewhere. And the club goes, we missed something. You didn't miss something, actually, because he wasn't going to perform for you. It was the wrong environment. This is a different team, a different coach, a different...
You can see players who don't go well there, they move and all
That's what happens. They're superstars,
And it's like also that not every coach is going to like you during your career, but
that's right.
If he doesn't like you, someone else is going to like you.
Letters to Santa. So this is an open discussion for you guys. Choose a club and work out what they need as a late Christmas present, i.e. in the January transfer
We've all picked
window.
a club.
We've all picked a club. Foz, you can go first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
OK, well, I picked Aston Villa for the reasons I said before. I'm really supporting them hugely because I want not one of the biggest spending clubs to win the Premier League. I think every 5 or 6 years, probably you need one of those to happen just to keep things interesting and competitive. If it's going to be between Gunners, them, and Chelsea, then, it's all a little bit predictable. And so the question for them is two things. I think depth and also their goal scoring. The fact that Morgan Rogers is scoring so many is fantastic, but you raised the issues about Ollie Watkins as well. So you need more support for that. Secondly, we know that a lot of them are coming from distance, and teams are going to start. The teams already understand that very well. Their stats are very clear, and I think they're going to start to make it more difficult for them to do that. And then you've got depth. Any injuries, and they're in deep trouble. So I think they certainly need to strengthen. He wants to strengthen. Last January transfer window was just loans and so on. In the off-season, everyone was disappointed there, including Emery, that they weren't able to build.
We've got to be careful of that, the PSR.
Exactly.
The PSR
That's right,
levels.
exactly. So as to what they need is a question. But I would like to see them strengthen just so that they can sustain the run and keep us all excited.
And if they do get the injuries or suspensions, they can cover it.
Yeah.
Rob, undoubtedly you're going to go down the Liverpool path here.
Of course.
What do they need in January?
Because I'm sure everyone would agree, it's such an interesting moment in time that what they're going through, what they've done. You mentioned most of it. Isak's non-pre-season, now he's injured. Ekitike being the most successful one, hasn't always started, but he's been a success. Defence has been a nightmare.
Yeah, it has been.
And I go back to the last day of the transfer window, they were going to sign Mark Gee from
That's right.
from Crystal Palace. I'm just thinking that they need to put, because they did talk about the time they'll go back in January. Let's see if that happens. Kanate and Van Dijk have not been good. That's on.
You think they've been exposed?
I think they've been exposed. I don't think Kirkes has performed to that level. He's obviously, look, they're all good players, right?
Yeah, of course.
But when you look at
this is the top level.
This is the top level. He hasn't. I don't think he's better than Andy Robertson. Robertson's had his injury issues.
Yeah.
Trent, I think, was vastly...
Right, that's a big question.
Everyone
underestimated what he gave the team.
Underestimated what his departure... Because he was, in my opinion, I know it's a weird thing to say, he was like a creative right fullback.
Yeah, he was creative.
You know, he was like a number 10 playing it right, you know, assists, attacking...
And pushing him forward meant they were pushed less back.
And I know as a winger that the worst kind of player to play against is someone like Trent. Or in my day, whoever they were.
Why you're chasing?
Because wingers don't want to run backwards.
Back for fun. And inside, you got to go inside, or you got to go outside.
So it's just a nightmare.
With Mark Gay, so they've got the opportunity, perhaps, to go after him. There was a big...
His form hasn't been fantastic.
There was a big splash in the papers a couple of weeks ago that's saying Liverpool are going to go after this guy. Now, he's got 6 months left in his contract. So in June, they can get him for nothing in terms of a transfer fee. They're going to have to pay him big, the wages. But do they go and splash £40 million?
Slot will push to buy him now because their aspirations, they still want to win the title.
And
they want to try and win the
Champions League.
So clubs of that size now, and Fozzie pertain to it, money's not a problem, inverted commas. So Slot will be pushing, no, I want that because I want to keep my job. And it says, we want to win those things. So they'll go for him in January. Whether that's enough, I don't know, because they got one of the worst defences in the competition.
Boz, what club are you going for the January wish?
Well, I'm going to go right to the other end of the table, Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Oh dear,
what are they?
That's a tough one.
Well, I was thinking very carefully about this, and I want to put it in an appropriate manner. I'm going to say this first, and I know you're going to laugh, especially, and then I'm going to change it around because obviously it's an impossibility. They needed a whole new squad. Right now, that is not going to happen.
No.
So what I'm alluding to is that they need a whole change of mentality. Now, mentality goes to culture, which is the longest thing sometimes it takes for a manager to change. But you don't want... seriously, I really do fear for them. You don't want to be breaking records for the reasons that they're doing now. Now, they've got Liverpool away and Manchester United away coming up. They're going to be very, very difficult games. But then after that is against one of your old teams, West Ham, at home. That is huge because West Ham are one of the teams that are in trouble as well. Big trouble. So they need a complete change of mentality. Rob Edwards has obviously came into a situation where he will know that most probably, and we say that, you know, because there always are miracles, that they will be relegated. But there's no use playing like that. And I mean from a mental perspective. If you play in that manner that, you know, it doesn't matter anyway, you know what? You'll get relegated and you won't win a game. They need a whole new change of their mentality and what they're going to do. I mean, if you're going to go down, at least go down fighting. Teams who go down fighting will come back up. Teams who just give up, forget about them. Wondering how they do that in the market as well. You can bring in players with a big mentality and do that, but the Wolves fans are like voting with their feet. They're, you know, protesting the fact that the club won't spend the appropriate funds. OK, but that won't change until they start winning. And players don't want to go there at the moment. Yeah, that's the trouble. You can't get good players. And I've gone on the January wish list, Newcastle. OK. Shock horror. What's your wish? It'd be nice if this mob would stop being so good. Yeah, it's true. In January. Sunderland, please do us a favour. No, well done on the derby win. That's a great present. How far? And I know, obviously, every Newcastle fan would like them to win it, but let's be realistic here. What would you consider a success in the Champions League for them in terms of how far they go? Par would be round of 16. Anything beyond that would feel like great. Quarter-final would be immense. Okay. A Champions League quarter-final at St James's Park. Okay. That'd be a great atmosphere. It would probably mean against one of the truly big teams of Europe, given how the seedings will work, and not sure we'll make the top 8. But January is big for Newcastle. A lot of other clubs still in the League Cup. Obviously, you've got the FA Cup. They're fighting in 4 competitions in the month of January alone. I think they've got 8 games in January, which is extraordinary. Newcastle need Visser, who they bought from Brentford. Came on against Chelsea. They need 5 goals from him to help out Big Nick.
Voltamato, who is running on fumes already. We spoke about him earlier. So they need goals from their other big... They bought 2 strikers to replace Isak. They could do because of the funds that they got, and they still had a bit of change left over. So that's what's required for Newcastle in January. Just before we go, Rob, I know you're good for a story. Our final thing. Have you got a story of maybe like over the festive period, say Christmas or New Year's, where players... A lot of pressure on players.
Jeez, there's a lot in my day.
Perhaps they went a little overboard when they shouldn't have because they had a game the next day, like be it Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, because you're playing New Year's Day, you're playing Boxing Day. Like, have you got anything along those lines?
Well, look, obviously, as you guys know, I played it in a time, no social media. There was,
Are you thankful for that?
I moved to it, when I moved to it, and I'm not afraid to say that there was a drinking culture. I left France where there was a smoking culture and they didn't really drink, and then I went to England where it was the opposite. But anyway, one stood out. We were playing Manchester City away.
With who? Who are you?
West Ham.
West Ham.
So we left New Year's Eve and we went up on the bus, which was a pretty easy trip. It's always a little bit long, but on the way up, Julian Dijk, our very famous West Ham player, legend, loved at West Ham, and a great left full-back. Actually spent a bit of time at Liverpool, didn't really work out. But we were sitting up the back, so the bus was, you've been on them with the tables, and then
playing cards
at the back was the circular lounge.
Right. Everyone there.
So anyway, we're up the circular lounge about halfway up, and Dixie pulled out a bottle of Jack Daniels, full bottle, and he said, this is for tomorrow,
the bus ride home.
Yeah, well, he said that.
Yeah.
So anyway, that night passed, we had dinner, went to bed. There was a fair bit of noise from other rooms, but I don't know. I was on my own room because I was a snorer. And anyway, the next day we beat Man City 2-1. Wow. It wasn't a Man City like they were today, obviously, but still, it was tough at Main Road, the old stadium. Freezing night, and anyway, we jumped back in the bus, and I don't know, probably an hour down, I was sitting on one of the tables, and I went up to the back, and some of the boys were drinking. I grabbed a beer, and I said, Dixie, you having a drink? You got that bottle? So he pulled out the bottle. It was 2/3 gone, and I looked at Dixie. He said, I was still the best, wasn't I? I said, you had that last night. He goes, I had a couple of cheeky ones.
Couple of cheeky ones?
Yeah.
It was 2/3 of a bottle of Jack.
But he was nearly man of the match.
He was
fantastic.
Players back then actually were, in a way, used to it. In other words, it
100%.
wasn't unique. That was not unique.
Could you imagine Erling Haaland doing that now?
It was part of the whole culture.
It was. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I remember coming from France, and I lived there when the revolution happened, because they missed 2 World Cups.
What, with Napoleon?
Not that one.
Sorry.
No, when they missed 2 cups in a row, and they had this massive remodelling of everything. And I was lucky enough to play in that time.
That's when they began Clairefontaine, right?
Yeah, Clairefontaine, and they got all the great players together, and there was a way forward. But in the clubs, the coaches were big on diets. So I moved to England. I remember my first game at Blackburn. It was at home, and after the game, we went to the bar. We won, and Chris Sutton was standing there, and that was a Saturday game, and we had a Wednesday game coming up. So in France, you wouldn't even think of having a drink. Right. Anyway, so I went up to the bar and I ordered an orange juice, and Sonny looked at me and he goes, "What's that?" I said, "Well, we've got a game on Wednesday." He goes, "Right." He says, "I'll have 2 pints." 2 pints of lager. And I go, But I came with that mentality. I stayed with that.
I was going to say, when I was 17, we went and played in the Junior World Cup, and then I went over to Rangers, Glasgow Rangers, for a while, for a few months, and couldn't get a work permit. Anyway, it was like a huge eye-opener. Souness was in charge at the time. Remember that time?
Yeah, good friend of mine. Yeah.
Trevor Francis and Graham Roberts they'd bought all of these, and they still had Ali McCoist, and it was a good team, and. But it was like people would train. They'd train in the morning. Go there as just a naive little Aussie boy.
Little battler from Lismore.
Yeah, little battler from Lismore. Yeah, just take the boots in and then he'd go and train. And then straight after training would be into the pool halls.
That's it.
I've never been in a pool hall in my life. I thought it was the most boring thing ever, to be honest with you. But that's what they do, darts and pool.
I remember at West Ham, the injured players was hilarious. So the injured players who couldn't train, so we'd all come in training and the injured. Yeah. And there was always 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6 injured players. We get their treatment done and the physios and that. And they'd have to come back in the afternoon to get more treatment. Yeah. But in between, they'd go to the pool hall, have pints, and then go back in the afternoon to... Yeah. And the worst thing you can do with muscle injuries is drink alcohol. Exactly. But anyway, it was the way it was.
We're athletes. We'll be back next week with more added time. Thanks,
so we won't be doing that over Christmas.
No, thank you very much. Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you for the donut.
Season. Yep, no problem.
I'm off to go and cut this off. Cheers, boys.
This has been another Stan Sport production.